So I have no idea how to start this video because here we are. Um I have been sitting on this script for about a month or two now. I have been meaning to record it. If someday I will actually genuinely record it and make it into its own video. But I want to get it out there because I think it's a genuinely good script. I think it's a genuinely good essay. So enjoy this clip of me being gaslit by a set of stairs in Minecraft for about 10 minutes straight, uh, while I read this script word for word, verbatim, including stage directions. Here we go. Liminality and the Occult in Games. Section 1, Intro. Pacific Drive intro plays. The driver gets pulled into the exclusion zone. 3 to 5 seconds of silence. Have you ever played a game and felt like you just alley bad cuts in? Cut. No, we're not doing an essay on liminality and liminal spaces. This has been beat like a dead horse. And what are we talking about? Title card. Liminality and the occult. In games as subtext. Section 2. Definitions. Occulty gameplay under voice like Darkest Dungeon. Liminality. You may have heard the word countless times. I have also. But for the uninitiated, think like those odd places in the back rooms. Image/video of the back rooms. Well, I mean, hey, at least you got it this time, so like Infinite Staircase, have fun. Or a school after dark. Picture of a school after dark. This one I can't give you. Maybe even an empty pool. This one I also can't give you. I'm sorry. Picture of an empty pool at night. Those places that feel familiar but wrong. They're out of context. Now, there are hundreds of essays about liminality and liminal spaces and what they actually do to the human psyche. What about occult? Nowadays, the occult gets thrown around as a catch-all for supernatural, horror game footage, hidden gods, maybe some Shadow of the Colossus footage, or maybe even just magic to some people, magic from Skyrim. But what does it actually mean? Occult comes from the Latin word, Occult comes from the Latin word occultus, literally means hidden, obscured, knowledge or forces that are hidden from view and working behind the scenes. Nowadays, it means hidden practices related to the supernatural or esoteric. That's the definition we'll be using. So, how do games make something feel occult? How do games make something hidden and forbidden? Better yet, how does the occult in games let players feel like they are actually progressing? One of the biggest tools they use is liminality. Section 3A, Pacific Drive. Footage from Pacific Drive. Pacific Drive opens by pulling the player, the driver, into something called the exclusion zone, a government black site. Abandoned, sealed off, wrong, liminal, you get the idea. Your goal is simple: get out. But to survive, you scrap cars, you repair, you scan anomalies. And those anomalies? They're the result of experimentation with something called limb energy, a supernatural force fused with machinery. This isn't a horror game, but like most horror titles, you can't do anything about them. You could scan them. You approach something unnatural. You risk getting close. You scan it to reveal its name. Learning what it is progression. That's ritual structure. You aren't just gathering data, you're revealing something hidden. Show scanning animation. Then there are the files, the audio logs, the radio fragments. Optional, missable, hidden. You have to actively seek them out to understand what Arda is doing inside this liminal space. Science framed as ritual. Discovery framed as trespass. Liminality as science and ritual. Feat. But what about other games? Section 3B, Dark Souls 3. Intro cinematic of Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls, ellipses, beat, is not subtle about what is going on. Beat. The Age of Fire is fading, but refuses to die. Death exists, but so does undeath. Before you even move, the game calls the lands of Lothric a transitory land. Instability isn't implied, it's screamed. Udix fight footage. A really good, actually funny enough, with the fight footage, I actually no hit Udix for the fight footage that I actually had. Let that sink in. I recorded this bit so many different times. I actually no hit Udix. That's not much of an impressive thing. I'm really bad at Dark Souls. Carrying on. A really good example of this is the first boss of the game, Udix Gundyr. To quote my wife, a first-time Dark Souls player, "Is this a statue? Is this not a statue? What is this thing?" And that confusion, that's intentional. If you look closely before you ever touch him, you can already see something dark, something wrong, something that has no business being inside a man, already visible beneath the surface. The corruption isn't a reveal, it's already there, it's already won. Then you pull a sword from his chest, for reasons that'll become obvious later. Then he starts swinging. His movements are deliberate. His movements are deliberate, wide arching swings with his halberd, methodical. On the surface, it looks like he's testing you, making sure you know what you're doing, initiating you. Which, I mean, makes sense because that's what a tutorial boss is, an initiation. A threshold you have to cross before the game trusts you with the rest of itself. Then there is the second phase, beat. The corruption that is already visible tears free. What emerges is called a pus of man, a manifestation of the abyss, an occult force that hollows humans, strips them of their humanity, and Gundyr, a guardian of a gate, is already halfway gone before you arrived. He isn't guarding the threshold. He's proof the threshold already failed. So what exactly is he looking over? Firelink Shrine footage. Firelink isn't safe. Firelink feels safe, sorry. It's hidden. It's where you regroup, where you level up, where you transmute souls into strength. But just beyond its boundary, enemies respawn endlessly every time you rest. Safety in Dark Souls is provisional. It's preparation, not protection. Leveling footage. And even leveling up is ritualized. You don't open a menu anywhere. You kneel before a firekeeper, a priestess whose sole duty is to tend to the flame. Souls are described as sovereignless. Strength is drawn out from them. Power isn't seized, it's mediated, consecrated, withheld, beat. This is in the first 20 minutes, and we haven't even left Firelink Shrine. There are dozens more examples, obscure artifacts required to face ancient kings, entire endings gated behind hidden rituals. But for the sake of my sanity and yours, we're moving on. No, the irony is not lost on me. I hope you're enjoying the Infinite Staircase. Section 3C, Minecraft, Beat. The next game is now for the fun one. Minecraft title screen. Ali Bad. What? How on earth is Minecraft liminal or occult? Gameplay footage. Well, here you go. Here's your gameplay footage. Minecraft, the kids' block game. Everyone played it. Everyone built a dirt house at some point. Beat. And yet, beat. Sometimes it just feels off. I mean, it's why the game has spawned dozens of horror mods. By Herobrine, a liminal supernatural entity with no origin or explanation, or even reason to exist. Just feels like he belongs there. Hell, there's even a mod pack called Liminal Industries. Again, Liminal Industries. Not subtle. Fun fact, actually, that's actually where this clip comes from, the Infinite Staircase you're watching, where this comes from. It's why some people genuinely can't handle Minecraft in single player, myself included to a degree. No, again, the irony is not lost on me. But they are completely fine in multiplayer. The world isn't empty of content. There are villages, strongholds, bastions, and ancient cities. Break. And yet, whoever or whatever made those structures isn't around anymore. And before we go any further, beat. XP is weird in this game. Not going to explain that yet, but keep it in the back of your head. Now, the obvious through line is the end, a dimension you can only reach by finding a hidden structure, decoding its location, and performing what is functionally a summoning ritual to open a portal. I know, real subtle. We could stop there. We won't. That's boring. Beat. Because it goes way further than that. To get the strongest gear in the game, you have to learn to read. Enchanting table footage. Galactic. A real script you can actually learn that the game never explains and never teaches you. You sit at an enchanting table surrounded by bookshelves and you spend resources, XP and lapis specifically, on whatever outcomes you can't predict or control. It feels wrong, deliberately wrong, like you're bargaining with something that isn't telling you the full terms. Beat. For those wondering, the words, when translated, often just are random, unrelated words. So, no, you can't use it as an easy out to know what enchants you're getting. The game isn't going to give you the enchants you want on a silver platter. You still need to engage with the system to learn how it works. I really hope you're enjoying that infinite staircase. This has been, what, maybe 7 minutes? But enchanting isn't even the deepest trespass the game asks of you. Nether footage. The nether is already liminal. Rocks that burn, lava oceans, basalt and quartz foundation formations, beats, and gold. Actually, on the topic of gold, did you know, beats, gold has the highest enchantability rating of any material in the game. It takes the process better than diamond, better than iron cut, beats, better than anything actually, beats. Anyway, my stepdad used to take me gold panning as a kid, up in the local mountains where I used to grow up. And one of the things he taught me was how you would know gold was in an area. Was a large white outcropping in a cliff face. Quartz. Find that, start panning the creek nearby. Beat. 9 times out of 10, gold flakes. Forms in transitional geological formations, threshold geology. It's also been considered a sacred metal offered to deities across every major civilization in human history. It's actually why we used to use it as a currency, incorruptible. It doesn't rust, doesn't tarnish, doesn't decay. Beat. Minecraft put the sacred transitional metal in the transitional dimension, in the exact geological formations it actually appears in, and the creatures who live there won't touch you if you're wearing it. That is used as a liminal currency. Beat. Liminal beings living in liminal bastions worship liminal metal. Section 4. Recap plus close. Recap. Liminality isn't just spooky hallways and foggy train stations. Wait, fuck. I skipped. And then there are the ancient cities. Ancient city footage. Buried deep under mountains, no natural light, covered in a material called skulk. Skulk is worth paying attention to. It spreads, it consumes, and critically, it feeds on experience. Beat. Remember that thing I said about XP being weird? Beat. XP in Minecraft, the resource you accumulate by beat, while beat, killing things. Skulk doesn't just drain a resource, it drains the residue of death itself. And it doesn't use sight, it uses sound, beat, which in of itself is a very transitional medium. Sound waves on air. Sound travels on airwaves, compression and rarefication. It exists between the source and the listener, and then it's gone. Beat. Which leads us to the Warden. Warden footage. A blind ancient guardian of a city that has been dead longer than any living thing in the game can remember. And if the lore is to be believed, it isn't just guarding the city, it's made of it. Souls trapped inside. Not dead, not free, suspended. Beat. The apex predator of a soul bound ecosystem. Beat. And you've been spending that same currency at an enchanting table this whole time. You were never separate from the system. Beat. You were feeding it. Beat. The game never tells you any of this. It's hidden, obscured, operating beneath the surface the entire time. Beat. Occultus. Section 4, Recap plus Close. Recap. Liminality isn't just spooky hallways and foggy train stations. Sometimes it's a whole world. Ancient city pan. Sometimes it's a mental state. Pacific Drive anomaly interaction. Sometimes it's the structure of the ritual itself. Firekeeper leveling up. And liminality feels wrong. Like something is hidden just around the corner, waiting to reveal itself. But that's the point. In Pacific Drive, you scan what shouldn't exist, scanning artifacts and secrets. In Dark Souls, you kneel before a fire that refuses to die. Dark Souls linking the fire ending. In Minecraft, you trespass into dead cities and strip mine their secrets. Warden Chase. The ritual, the trespass, the world itself. They're all suspended between states. And when a world is suspended between states, it feels occult. Not because it's full of magic, but because it feels like something hidden is operating just beneath the surface. And you're not supposed to see it. Rest at a bonfire, slow fade to black. Soft ending card with essay by Morjaga. Flicker with Barzad, same text, pet. I hope you enjoyed me walking in an infinite staircase, by the way. Um yeah. If you did like this little video, then feel free to drop a like and a subscribe to the channel. I typically stream on Twitch and I am also found on Twitter. I do plan on actually making a dedicated video for this essay because I feel like it actually genuinely deserves it. But I also feel like this bit was too good to pass up. That's all. Bye bye.